opened up its doors to other races as well. So there became a very interesting movement that Sunny initiated, along with Ivan and others, of recruiting Black consciousness members, mostly in the Cde area. Among their first recruits were a wonderful, hardworking and committed couple, Patrick Msomi and his wife Jabu. And they were among the first Africans to be elected to the NIC. The couple were tragically killed by apartheid agents in a car bomb in Mancini in the 80s. Yet to pay tribute to the wonderful relationship that she has with Sunny, please welcome their daughter, Lindiwe. Give a round of applause, everyone. Thank you so much. Lindiwe, Msomi, and Kendall.
Yeah, I think that's good. Before I speak, I was forewarned not to take it longer than 3 minutes. I will try. As you have introduced me, my name is Lindiwe Msomi. I don't know which surname to actually take up, because as you will remember, my father in South Africa, his name was Petrus Msomi. Later on, growing up, I knew him to be Pat Nzima. Later on, he became Petrus Msomi. So we have been traversing between these surnames like forever and ever. But I believe that the one that truly stuck was Nyawosa, which is his original and his actual surname. So we are Nyawosas, that's who we are. It gives me great pleasure to stand here, Uncle Sunny. I call him Uncle Sunny, proudly so, with no regrets and no reservations whatsoever, because you know, the definition of an uncle, like Google and will put it, like Wikipedia will put it, is a maternal relative of yours who is a brother to your mother, or a second-degree relative of yours whom you can consider to be the one you run to in times of need. But also an uncle would be someone who you admire greatly and someone you have a lot of respect for. Uncle Sunny, you are one of those people whom when I look up to, or when I look back, myself and my family, my siblings, we keep asking ourselves, yourself, Uncle Ivan, Uncle Joe, when society had completely forgotten about our parents, how did you manage to keep their legacy and their names alive? 37 years ago, they were killed. And 37 years later, you're still holding that banner. You're still saying, let us keep the legacy of Petrus and Jabu alive. But the fact that you are sitting here today says to me, there's something about you that no other person actually has. That says to me, you are an extraordinary character. You know, sitting in this room, I'm something to have some searching. I'm thinking of if my father was still alive and my mom was still alive, where would they be? But it gives me great comfort to know that this is actually the place where they would have been. Because today I get to see the company that my parents kept. Remember when my parents were killed, we were very young. That was in 1982. Like I've said, it's 37 years ago. And being in the presence of such greatness says to me, I do have a glimpse of what my parents were like. With your sunny personality that you have, and remembering my father's bubbly and sunny personality, which never defeated my mother's personality. They were a kind of a Bonnie and Clyde of their own time. So the fact that they associated with you tells me that there were people who were great. Looking at you tells me that we are standing on the shoulders of giants, just like my father and mother stood on your shoulders. The fact that you recruited my father into the NIC, and later on he got into the MK, and later on joined the ANC, says to me, you are the father who planted a seed. You know, there's a story of the bamboo tree. The bamboo tree which does not grow. It's a story, probably a myth, not too sure. But this tree is said to have a very strong or hard seed, which will be planted and only grows after 5 years. I look at you and I say to you, you planted a seed and you disappeared. I'm not too sure whether you know what happened later on. The Gandhi principles of passive resistance. As a child, we knew about that as children because my father educated us deeply about, he politicized us as children. Growing up, we were already reading Sichaba, Saruna, which was a magazine that was distributed to people who were living in exile. As children, we were already listening to Radio Freedom. It was only because of whatever seed that you planted, which was later transferred to us as children. You may have ignited a very small fire, which later grew on to become a very big fire. When eating sprouts, Brussels sprouts, bamboo sprouts as they call them, we should never forget to thank the man who planted them. And today I want to say you are that man. We may never have been politically active or participated in politics, but we are very political in nature. Not because of our father's own teachings, but because of your teachings that unknowingly you planted in my father. Looking at Uncle Ivan and Uncle Joe, you, the three of you, are the glue that sticks us together. The only memory that still lives of our parents is engraved in the three of you. Thank you for coming back to look for us when we were thrown into the doldrums of the earth. When society, when everybody had forgotten, we were sent into oblivion. Nobody knew us. I'm not saying this as a way of complaining, but I'm just saying I don't know how and why you remembered us. At every turn, when my sister got a job, she told me that the very first person who called her to say, I'm so happy you have a job, and call the people at work, please look after her, she is my daughter. And that was you, Uncle Sunny. Therefore, to me, I look at you and I see my mom and my dad in you. I appreciate you, not just myself, my sister as well. When you called us to say to us we would be coming here to attend this prestigious event, I said, you know what, this is like a deja vu moment for us. A moment where we get to meet our parents for the very first time. Remember, we were children, we didn't get that opportunity to even get to know them. So when I see you interacting and engaging in the fashion that you engage, it gives me a feeling of saying, I do know my dad, a little bit of my dad. I met him, but I've never met my dad in the actual sense of meeting, because I do not know how he fought, I do not know what his character was like, but through you and Uncle Ivan, I call you uncles and it feels right, it feels good, because you are my people. The only thing between my parents and myself and my sister is just you guys. If anything should happen to you, it would be losing our parents for the second time. So this day I want to say to you, at a time when, like the expression goes, when the children of the revolution start to devour one another, when a time when there is chaos, there is mayhem, I ask myself, if my parents were still alive, what would they have thought of the struggle? I'm not too sure. What would their opinions have been? If there are any camps, which camp would they have belonged to? In a way, their death may have been a tragedy, but in a way, a blessing in disguise. They may not have been able to live through what we are looking at and watching on happening to the organization that they gave their life to for the rest of their lives. So in saying this, I'm basically saying that we wish you a very long and happy life. Please please don't live for us. I mean for yourself only. Do it for us, those of us who still need you. Because you carry what no other person carries. You carry a part of our parents in you. What you planted in my dad lives on in you. I believe a part of you, a part of him, he gave to you because you keep coming back. Uncle Ivan keeps coming back. When we disappear and we hide, we get the dreaded phone call. Where are you? What are you doing? And it feels so good to know that somebody out there cares. That you're really concerned. Why? I do not know. Because you have nothing to gain, you have nothing. There's nothing there for you. But there's that bond that you formed with our Father. And for that, we truly appreciate you. I believe that those Craig Williamsons, those David Chikalange, that Dek Kutsia, Alfon Nofamela, that is the Flak Plus Death Squad. Of course, it was tragic. It was a war, there had to be casualties. But I'm glad that my parents paid the ultimate price, because freedom indeed was not free. I do believe it is their blood that nourishes the tree of freedom. And today, although we are not free, because the struggle still continues, I can still say that the price was worthwhile. It was worth it. It was a hefty price to be paid. But for men like you to go to Robben Island, for men like my father to lay his life down, for women, strong women like my mother, Jabulile said, to say, if I have to die, then I'm prepared to die for a cause which I strongly believe in. A happy and long life to you. May God strengthen you and give you the courage to live on and continue to be a shining light. We appreciate you and we thank you very much. I did not look at my speaker. I have to speak for you.
That's it.